World's Strongest Man finals time. I made it through the group stage. The last day for me was basically no effort, picking up the wrecking ball, putting it down, and watching the stone ops, which is, I'm so happy I wasn't a part of that because that looks really nerve-wracking. And I had that day to recover. I had the next day to recover as well before we started the finals. When we went to familiarization into the yard for the finals, first event was the Giants medley. So we had 2 boxes, carry those, put them on pads into the yoke, and carry the yoke 10 meters. The yoke was 1,000 pounds. I knew that this event was going to go well when we were in the yard. Colin Bryce was beside me. I picked up the 2 Kanak boxes. I put them down, and I asked Colin, I said, hey, how much more weight is going in for the event? And he goes, oh, I'm not sure. And they pop up in the box, and that was already at comp weight. And so, okay, this is going to feel pretty solid. I'm not too concerned about it. Each of the boxes was 275, I believe. And so I thought carrying those would be not too much of an issue. I gave it a crack beforehand, not a big deal. The only bit that was tough is you had to get your hands in and under those handles pretty precisely. And so what I ended up doing is taking chunks of chalk, putting it underneath the handles so that actually, if you watch closely, my handles wing out to the side a little bit where everyone else's are flat. This helped me a lot on the first box and got off to a really good start, side to side with Tom Stoltman. On the second box, I reached down and I knocked the handle, which then broke the chalk, and the handle ended up flat anyway, so it's sort of no win there. But finished those 2 boxes, and we were in the second last group, so I knew what good times were. We got into the yoke basically at the same time, and from there, I just took off with the yoke, finished that really quite quickly, and I knew that I had won the event by the time I had finished. After us was Martins and Alexi, but I took the win in that event. Really, really happy with that. And in the medley, I ended up with a time of 21 seconds, 0.96, so 22 seconds, event win. And Tom actually came second, who was right beside me, and he was about 2.5 seconds behind that pace. So that got me off to a fantastic start, and we're looking at the car deadlift afterwards, which deadlifts are really, they're my thing. So I thought this could be 2 event wins in a row, and who knows what could happen after that. So we're deadlifting, and I had never done a car deadlift before. I didn't know that you needed to have your feet a little bit further forward. And so when I deadlifted, at lockout, the bar was probably that far away from my thighs. It felt heavy from rep 1. And this was just a battle and battle and battle. And I ended up with 12 reps on this event, which is not a bad result. Alexi won with 15. But other than that, Trey got 13, and Tom Stoltman got 13. So I tied with Martins on 12. I lost to Alexi, Tom, and Trey. If I had my technique proper, if I had my feet a little bit further forward, I guarantee I would have had a couple of more reps in me at least. So when you start playing mind games with yourself, in my mind game, I think I could have had another 3 points on that event. I think I probably should have finished second, but you live and you learn. Next was the Flintstone barbell, and this was rising bar style, and I really didn't like that. It was really quite stressful in like getting up, coming down, getting up, coming down, and you don't just go out and perform and you're done with it. So the first lift was, I think, 180 kilos, and I was really shaky on that one. I pressed it and it wasn't quite right, and it was a bit of a struggle to lock out, and I was very, very nervous about everything coming up. Then I hit 190 kilos. Then we're coming up to 200 kilos. A couple of guys miss at 200. I hit at 200, and my hit at 200 was pretty solid. I was quite happy with that. And then the next jump was 212. My best in training was 217. So I figured this should be no problem. But at this stage of the event, I was just not in the same shape. I wasn't as fresh as I was when I was doing it in training. I was so close to hitting 212. I got it to about here, and then it comes down a bit. I bring it back up, And I don't know how, but then my one arm just didn't have the strength to lock it out. And that really stung. So that was another couple of points, and that was the end of day one. Reflecting on day one, I think 2 points on Flintstone barbell, just out of my grasp, and 3 points on deadlift, just out of my grasp. I think I was 5 points shy of where I should have been after day one, based on what I was capable of. That would have had me at 24 out of a possible 30 points, and that would have had me right up there in first or second spot. But I ended up with, I believe I was in second or third spot after day one. We come into day two, and I have never pulled a bust before either. So this is a bit of a theme. I'd never done a car deadlift. My Flintstone barbell, I actually had to push press it because at my gym, there was no ability to do anything behind the neck because there's no crash pads or anything. And then, yeah, now we're on to bust pull, and I'd never done that before. So I thought, you know what, we'll give it a crack. I was coaching myself at the time, and I was talking to Colin Bryce and Eddie Hall in the hot tub before day one and day two of the finals. And Colin said, oh, well, why don't I show you how to pull the bust? And we get a harness out, and I'm pulling a track and sort of getting the principle of it. But I figured let's see how it goes. And I wasn't going to beat myself up over this one. We'll just have a bit of fun. And if it goes well, it goes well. So first guy goes and he gets 53 seconds. Second guy goes and he gets 51 seconds. I asked him, are you good at pulling tracks? Is this traditionally something good for you? And both of them said, yeah, I'm pretty good. So I went out and I did 49 seconds, and I thought, okay, well, maybe that finishes me mid-pack. That lost to every single person after me. It was, yeah, is what it is. If I had improved that time by about 3 seconds, so I was 49 seconds, the next person was 47, 47, 46, 45. And so I was really a few seconds off a very good result. And again, I think with a bit of experience, again, I would have had another handful of points on that event. So here's what it is. Then we're into power stairs, and at this stage, I'm still mid-pack. I think I was fifth at this point. And on power stairs, it's not something I'd done before, but it's something I was confident with. I'd done it in the yard, and it really felt pretty comfortable. It was 500 pounds, 220 kilos, and we took it 10 meters and then walked it up 3 steps. I was head-to-head with Maxime Boudreau, who ended up winning the event. So I had a great comparator. I didn't know that, but I did. First implement, got it up to the step, up, no problem. Second implement, I sprint back, go, I get it up the step, up, no problem. And I'm ahead of Max at this stage. I get the third implement, I walk it up to the step. I'm starting to fatigue pretty good. I get it up the first step, I'm still ahead of Max. I go to get it up the second step, and I hit a bit of a wall. My technique wasn't great because I'd never practiced doing this event. And I basically got stuck on the 7th step there, which still had me in an okay finishing spot. With 7 steps, I got 6 points. That's 4th place in the event. But if you look at the guys who beat me, one guy got 8 steps. So Brian Shaw got 8 steps in 69 seconds. That's 37 seconds behind where I was when I was that close off the lip. Then the guys who finished, Maxime, he did it in 37. So that was 7 seconds to get the 2 steps. Martins Lisis finished in 44 seconds. That was 12 seconds back of where I was. And Tom finished in 41 seconds, which was 9 seconds back of where I was. It is what it is. But I think, in a different world, I could have won this event a little bit stronger. Again, points just slipping away. And it's a little bit painful in retrospect to go like, 3 points here, 5 points here, 6 points here. And then you go, well, I could have done this. But in the end, that's strongman. If you don't do it, you don't do it. Last event was Atlas Stones. Again, at this stage, I didn't have Atlas Stones at my gym. I was just training at a commercial gym. I was fairly capable on them, but at this point, you're pretty tired. And to be honest, after I'd lost so many points, I started to check out a little bit, and you fight in your own head at this stage. So I thought that I should finish all 5 stones. I thought I was capable of that. It went from 120 to 200 kilos, and I got through the first 4. On the 5th stone, I extended, and then I rolled one of my ankles when I was reaching it up, and that left me at 4 stones, and that gave me 2 points in that event. Unfortunately, that was 0.23 seconds slower than the guy who beat me, and if I got 1 more point, I would have ended up in 7th spot, not 8th. But 8th strongest man in the world. That was my first professional competition. If another 5 points, I would have been top 5, and if I had wings, I could fly. So that was that. I'm really, really frothing to get back to this show next year. I know that I'm capable of more. My Atlas Stone performances have been much, much better ever since. I'm just improving. And I think I'd be in the top 3 or 4 in the same lineup lifting those stones right now. So that being said, that was my World's Strongest Man finals experience. I came out with 8th strongest man in the world, and I'm really hungry to see what I could do. If you want to follow along the journey to next World's Strongest Man, click that subscribe button. If you want more people to see this content, leaving a moose dropping or a period, if you have nothing else to comment, helps out the algorithm quite a bit. And if you really like it and you really want to support this journey and this channel, becoming a member would be super helpful. So have a look at that, see what the benefits are, and we'd love you to join the team. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you guys soon. Lift heavy, be kind.